Hi everyone. In the charming town of Bruges, Belgium, where cobblestone streets wind alongside picturesque canals, lived Alexander and Isabella, a couple whose love story seemed plucked from the pages of a romantic novel. Friends often described them as the perfect pair, but beneath the surface of this idyllic existence, cracks began to form. Alexander was a successful architect with a passion for cycling, while Isabella worked as an art gallery curator, immersing herself in the vibrant culture surrounding her. Together, they had built a life filled with laughter, shared dreams, and cherished moments. But as the seasons changed, so did Isabella. She became more withdrawn, her laughter fading into the background. Alexander attributed her behavior to work stress, unaware of the brewing storm. The couple often enjoyed quiet evenings at home, sharing meals and stories about their day. Yet, lately, Isabella had been distracted, her thoughts seemingly elsewhere. One fateful night, after returning from a long cycling trip, Alexander felt a gnawing unease. He found Isabella sitting on the bed, her phone in hand, a look of guilt etched across her face. "Hey, you're home early," she said, attempting a smile that didn't reach her eyes. "Is everything all right?" he asked, concerned about etching his features. As the silence stretched, Alexander's heart raced, doubt clawed at him. Had he been blind to the signs? Days turned into weeks, and Alexander's suspicions grew. The late-night phone calls, the unfamiliar perfume lingering on her clothes, it all painted a picture he was desperate to ignore. But the nagging doubt followed him like a shadow. One evening, as he rifled through the drawers for his cycling gear, he stumbled upon an unopened letter addressed to Isabella. Curiosity piqued, he tore it open, only to find a receipt for a lavish dinner at a restaurant he knew they had never visited together. The realization hit him like a slap. This wasn't just stress, it was betrayal. Each day felt heavier as Alexander went through the motions. Cycling routes that once brought him joy now became reminders of his turmoil. He began to isolate himself, his friends noticing his absence at social gatherings. He couldn't bear to face them, not with this haunting knowledge festering inside him. When Alexander met Lucas for drinks, he had hoped for comfort, but he was met with a revelation that shattered his world. Lucas had been his best friend since childhood, and the trust they shared ran deep. "I've seen Isabella with someone else," Lucas said, his voice heavy with regret. The room spun as Alexander's heart sank. "You're lying. She wouldn't do that to me," he shouted, his voice cracking under the weight of disbelief. "I wish I were, but I've seen her, Alexander." "You need to confront her," Lucas urged. The weight of those words hung in the air, and as Alexander walked home, the picturesque town felt tainted. That night, Alexander replayed Lucas's words over and over in his mind. He couldn't sleep, his thoughts a chaotic whirlwind of anger, betrayal, and heartbreak. The woman he loved, the woman he had built a life with, had shattered his trust. How could she? And with his best friend, no less. The following evening, fueled by a mix of anger and determination, Alexander confronted Isabella. The air was thick with tension as he asked, "Lucas saw you with someone else. What do you have to say for yourself?" "What do you mean?" she replied, her tone defensive as she shifted uncomfortably. "Cut the act, Isabella. You've been lying to me." For a moment, silence enveloped the room. Then, with tears welling in her eyes, she broke down. "I didn't want you to find out this way. It's complicated, Alexander. I made a mistake." His heart shattered as he processed her words. The pain felt like a dagger twisting deeper with each admission. "You've destroyed everything we built together. You don't get to just dismiss it as a mistake." He couldn't hold back the hurt and fury any longer. Each word a reflection of the love he felt turning to ash. Isabella sank to the floor, her sobs echoing through the empty room. "I was lonely, Alexander. You were always working late, and I needed someone to talk to. It didn't mean anything, I swear." The desperation in her voice only fueled his anger. "You think that justifies sleeping with my friend? You betrayed me, Isabella." As the days passed, Alexander felt a storm brewing inside him, a mix of heartbreak and a burning desire for revenge. He had loved Isabella fiercely, but the pain of her betrayal twisted into a dark determination. He couldn't let her walk away without facing the consequences. He began to plot his revenge, meticulously crafting a plan that would make her truly understand the gravity of her actions. While outwardly he maintained a calm demeanor, his mind raced with ideas, each more cunning than the last. It wasn't just about revenge, it was about reclaiming his dignity. As we dive deeper into the twists of this story, I'd love for you to join our storytelling family here at Lauren's Story. If you're captivated so far, why not take a second to tap that subscribe button? Each new story brings you a front row seat to unforgettable journeys, ones that just might resonate with your own. Let's continue and see how this story unfolds. Lucas, unaware of Alexander's intentions, remained a friend in the dark, offering support while Alexander subtly encouraged him to engage more with Isabella. It was a game of chess, and Alexander was determined to come out victorious. As the weeks turned into months, Alexander's plan began to take shape. He learned about an upcoming art exhibition at Isabella's gallery, a grand event that would attract influential art critics and enthusiasts. The night of the exhibition would be the perfect stage for his revenge. He decided to use Isabella's love for art against her. On the day of the exhibition, he meticulously prepared an art piece of his own, a dramatic piece that encapsulated his emotions, titled Shattered Trust. It was a mixed media piece that showcased broken glass and painted shards, symbolizing his fragmented heart. He invited Clara, a colleague from work who had shown interest in his art and had become a supportive friend during his troubled times. Clara had a kind heart, and Alexander could feel a connection forming, but he was not yet ready to explore it fully. For now, she was his ally. On the night of the exhibition, Isabella's gallery was abuzz with excitement. Guests mingled, glasses clinking as laughter filled the air. Alexander arrived with Clara, her presence grounding him amidst the chaos of his emotions. As the night progressed, Alexander's heart raced with anticipation. He waited patiently for Isabella and Gregor to arrive, knowing that the culmination of his plan was near. When they finally walked in together, Alexander's heart sank. Isabella was radiant, while Gregor oozed confidence, completely unaware of the storm that was about to unfold. As the guests admired the art pieces, Alexander positioned himself strategically across the room, his eyes locked on Isabella and Gregor. Clara, sensing his tension, offered support, whispering encouraging words. "You've got this, Alexander. Remember why you're doing this." When the moment felt right, Alexander took a deep breath and made his way to the center of the gallery. He announced, "Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for joining us tonight. I have a special piece I'd like to unveil, a reflection of my personal journey." With a dramatic flourish, he unveiled Shattered Trust. Gasps echoed through the gallery as the guests absorbed the raw emotion of the piece. Alexander watched as Isabella's expression shifted from confusion to realization. "What is this?" Isabella whispered, her voice trembling as she took a step closer. "It's my story, Isabella. A representation of the trust you shattered," he said, his voice steady but filled with pain. The crowd grew silent, eyes darting between Alexander, Isabella, and Gregor. "You thought I wouldn't find out, but here we are." The truth laid bare for everyone to see. Gregor, caught off guard, attempted to brush it off. "Come on, man. This isn't the place for this." But Alexander pressed on, his voice rising. "No, this is exactly the place. You both chose to betray me, and now everyone gets to witness the consequences of your actions." The tension in the room was palpable as Isabella's face flushed with embarrassment and anger. She turned to Alexander, her voice a mixture of fury and desperation. "How could you do this? This was supposed to be a celebration. Not for you. You've turned our love into a joke," he shot back. The weight of his words hung heavily in the air, a reminder of the love they once shared now twisted by betrayal. As the guests began to murmur and whisper among themselves, Isabella's tears began to fall. The facade of the perfect couple shattered as the reality of her actions sank in. She turned to Gregor, seeking support, but he took a step back, realizing the gravity of the situation. "I'm sorry, Alexander. I didn't mean for it to go this far," Isabella pleaded, her voice cracking. "It's too late for apologies. You've made your choice, and now you'll face the consequences," he replied, his heart aching, but resolute. After the exhibition, Alexander felt a mix of relief and sadness wash over him. The weight of betrayal had lifted, but the pain remained. As time passed, he found solace in creating more art, using it as a medium to process his emotions. Isabella tried reaching out, but Alexander knew their relationship was irreparably damaged. Each message she sent only served as a reminder of what had been lost. He focused on rebuilding his life, allowing himself to heal. Clara remained a constant presence, her support unwavering as they grew closer over time. Their connection deepened, evolving into a friendship that slowly blossomed into something more. With each shared moment, Alexander learned to trust again, but the scars of betrayal remained. Months later, as Alexander attended another art exhibition, he spotted Isabella across the room. She looked different, more vulnerable, her eyes reflecting the weight of her actions. For a moment, their eyes locked, and he felt a rush of emotions. But then he steeled himself. This was not the time for old wounds to reopen. Isabella approached him, her voice soft. "I've been trying to reach you. I'm sorry for everything. I never meant to hurt you." He felt a pang of empathy, but reminded himself of the pain she caused. "Isabella, I've moved on. I need you to understand that. What happened between us can't be undone." As he turned to walk away, a sense of closure washed over him. He had confronted his demons, faced the betrayal head-on, and emerged stronger. In the end, Alexander learned that while betrayal can fracture love, it also has the power to forge resilience. His journey through heartbreak led him to rediscover himself and embrace new beginnings. As he looked toward the future, he understood that trust could be rebuilt, not just with others, but within himself. And so, the story of Alexander and Isabella became a chapter in his life, a testament to the strength of the human spirit, capable of rising from the ashes of betrayal and finding a new path toward healing and love. Thank you for joining me on this journey through heartbreak and resilience. If you found this story compelling, please consider subscribing to Lost Love Mystery for more narratives that explore the depths of human experience. Your support means the world, and together, we can uncover the power of storytelling. Don't forget to share and like this video, as your engagement helps our community grow.